cold out there, isn't it? Got mugged by a polar bear on the way and run off with my scarf. It's that cold. I thought Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did very well. No, I think we're being lulled into a full sense of mediocrity. You know, the notion that was a decent game. Look, I look at the only player on that pitch that was worth the, you know, the metaphorical admission money was Thiago. You look at the performance of some of those big players out there. Liverpool were there, irrespective of this 67-game record. You're not playing Liverpool at Anfield, you're playing Liverpool at an empty stadium. So the conditions that normally prevail around the challenges of going to Anfield aren't quite as clear and present as they have been over that 67-game run. And you have to accept that on paper, where games aren't played, that ultimately that's a challenge.
Yeah.
But Manchester United will never get a better opportunity to have beaten Liverpool. Liverpool had two central midfield players play as centre-halves. Their front three were absolute country mile off. You know, Roberto Firmino was dreadful. Salah looks like he's completely lost any confidence. Quite why, I don't know. Mane wasn't too bad, but the actual performance was, in my view, was very, very poor. In the second half, Man United took the game a little bit more to Liverpool, had opportunities. Their goalkeeper, Liverpool's goalkeeper, was an outstanding goalkeeper. But as far as a spectacle, we sat there. We're being told constantly and persistently the quality of this league. These are the two biggest teams in English football. You know, those snake oil salesmen over at Sky Sports that are purporting to represent this as the biggest game in world football are sat there selling us a pup because it was poor. We have to consistently listen to how good these players are and how good English football is. And you get the marquee game, and that was crap. It was as bland as bland can be, and it's not good.
Simon, you talk about boxing, and a lot of people do. But boxers make fights. It's a bit like styles make games in football. I've seen some Liverpool Man City games in the past that have been such high quality. We've sat on this show and eulogised about them because two teams are having a good go. We saw one earlier at the Etihad earlier in the season. So I think the way United approached the game was disappointing from the fact that they're playing well, and the points you make about Liverpool's vulnerabilities are right. But ultimately, there's only so much you can do as a Liverpool team when you're probing and pushing. You're 60% more possession. You're trying to dictate play. You're trying to go forward. The lack of quality in the final third is a separate issue.
Yeah.
But I actually thought the last 20 minutes of the game, it started opening up. You're thinking, oh, we've nearly got a game on our hands.
Did you think I thought the two fullbacks for Liverpool were poor? I thought Trent Alexander-Arnold was poor.
Trent's been struggling the last few weeks.
It looks like
Simon. And what I'd say about that is, I think there had to come a time where he had a dip, because the level of performance he's set himself over the last couple of years for a young man has been phenomenal. So he was due a dip, and I don't think he's been the same since he came back from that injury, physically, I mean.
Yeah.
You know, the fitness levels. And I actually think on the other side, Robertson first off did all right. He lost Pogba a few times, but his quality, his crossing wasn't quite there. But let's give United some credit. You talk about Salah's poor performance. That was one of the best performances I've ever seen Luke Shaw play for United.
Yeah,
and Lindelof came in, and there was a lot of question marks over Lindelof coming in for Bailly, because Bailly and Maguire have had a good partnership of late. And Solskjaer made a decision there that he left himself open to get hammered if Lindelof had a poor game. And Lindelof came in and did extremely well. Another reason why Firmino was struggling.
Sure.
But you have to admit...
But wasn't that highlighted as well by the nature of the Liverpool front three? Because at the end of the game, or the end of the day, sorry, those front three were nowhere near the level that we've come to. I mean, in fact, not even resembling the level that we've come to.
No, it's not the potency we expect, is it?
No,
I know, and let's be honest, it's not just this game, is it? It's not just this game. They've been been below par for a few weeks. I think that's 3 or 4 games.
I tell you who I thought did do well, and you're going to take a gasp of breath here. I thought Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did very well in his interview after the game. I think that his attitude and disposition is changing to someone that has a slightly more assertive vantage point, and is growing into the fact that his expectations are becoming more akin with somebody that's sitting at the top of the league. I still don't think that ultimately he's the end game, but I do think that his interview after the game spoke, he was questioned about bravery, and he came back and said, well, what are you talking about bravery? Are you talking about my team selection or the way the team plays? And I thought he was more robust in his stance, and he talked about the ambition of the side.
You changed your stance on him.
No. I think you have to adjust my overall position.
Don't start.
No, listen.
Well, change, adjust. Either one.
Too many people flip-flop. I think there's something to be said by being consistent. I still think he's mediocre, but I think he's becoming slightly more attuned to looking and feeling a little bit more like an elite manager.